Good afternoon, and I have a surprise session today, something that I'm very excited to introduce to all of you. So I kicked off a journey called Job Search Like a Boss, in short, I call it JLB last month. And the idea is to have a community-based effort at job search. Job search is not easy, and job search is a full-time job, right? And having that support, having that insights of what others are doing, having that direction on how you can make it better can really help you and help you focus your job search. So I kicked this off last month, and part of the deal was to celebrate the person who most inspired the community. And in August, we made a vote as in who inspired the community the most, and that's when Sandeep's name came in. So today's session is to celebrate Sandeep's achievement in the last month. He has been a huge impact. He has made a huge impact in the JLB community, and he has grown well as well. And I have another exciting news to share, which I'll come into when I introduce both of you. So the reward today is Sandeep will be interviewed by a seasoned recruiter. That's a reward Sandeep has, and Sandeep will be on the stage today. So let's get on things and invite both our guests today. So welcome, Mark, and welcome, Sandeep, to the show. It's quite an exciting time. So to introduce you both, Mark is a seasoned recruiter. He's been in the recruitment field for over 15 years, and he's also the founder of SydRecMeetup, which is a big recruiters meetup which happens in Sydney. And Sandeep is a full-stack Java developer. He's been in Sydney for quite some time, and he's been looking for a job as well. So the exciting news here is he got a verbal offer letter yesterday, and he's about to sign the contract today. So this is all falling in place. I'm really excited for what Sandeep is going to. So welcome to Mark, and welcome Sandeep to the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Ganesh. Thank you for
once again, Ganesh.
No worries at all. So as promised, Sandeep is on the stage today. I'll let Mark interview Sandeep, drill him, put him on the stage, do whatever you want to. I think the stake is a bit less because he has his contract right now, but still go for it and let's have fun. So on to you both, Mark and Sandeep.
Yeah.
Rightio. Sandeep, you're all mine, mate.
Yeah.
How you feeling today, mate? How you feeling?
I'm feeling excited. As you heard that I got an opportunity, and I'm excited to join the team in the company which I've been awarded an opportunity to, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Cool. What made the opportunity stand out? One that you accepted. What made that stand out from other opportunities to you?
Actually, I'm a full stack Java developer, and from past few years, I have been working in a full stack domain. So this opportunity is actually allowing to use my skills to actually solve problems in the company, and this is a very good opportunity that he has given me. The company is a startup, and which means that I'll be a part of each and every responsibilities there, and that is the opportunity that I was looking for, and hope I have got that one.
No worries. So you've worked with a full stack developer for a while. You've been a software developer for just 13 years now, ish.
Yes, sorry, I didn't get you.
I said you've been a software developer for about 13 years now, 10 plus years.
Yeah, so I have been working as a Java developer from past 10 to 11 years, and from past 3 years I had been migrating or shifting myself into a skills of full stack development, because full stack is somewhere which gives an opportunity to work from start till end of a project, and to be part of different migrations that I've already worked on. So this gives me an opportunity, and yeah, so that is the work I do.
Oh, cool. So I guess that's interesting stuff. What would you say your strongest? So obviously coming from a background as a Java developer, all right, and you've moved to a full stack. What would you say your strongest skills are from a process
Okay.
perspective, from a framework perspective? Talk me through.
Yeah, as I said, I have almost 10 years of experience in Java development, and
Yep,
my skills from past few years has been in migrations of applications from an old stack to a new stack. For that, the
yep.
skills of front end and back end both has their own importance. And
Mm-hmm.
front end part, I had been upskilling myself because I was not used to front end frameworks like JavaScript, Angular, and React. So I had been
Yeah,
upskilling myself, migrating the applications, and that helped me. Yeah.
excellent. So that's a question I always like to ask. You know, that sort of leads me down a lovely little rabbit hole. So you said you were upskilling in front end tech. What did you do to upskill? How did you upskill yourself?
So the upskilling that I did was basically when I was working for a company that was in a manufacturing domain, and there I had been upskilling myself on these technologies using some of the sites called Udemy and Croresa and the the courses that they have. By building those, I was able to build applications, small scale application, and replicate those in the migration part in my job.
That's good. Well, I think out of interest, did you list those Udemy and Coursera courses on your resume?
Yeah, it is so the skills or what I've done in my resume is basically the applications that I've built using those courses. I have added
Mm-hmm.
those in the Git of the GitHub, and I have used that GitHub link in my resume. And same way in
Yep.
the LinkedIn too, uh, the certificates that I get, it is being added to it, and so it portrays that the courses that I've done end-to-end application on that, and I'm skilled in that. So in that ways I'm portraying. Yeah.
No, that's really good. So what you've done there, and this is more just a generic comment. A lot of people talk about in interviews how they acquire new skills, right? And what you've done there is you've talked about how you've acquired the skill, right?
Yeah.
And how you've implemented it. So the fact that
Yeah.
you've gone through, you've done a Udemy course, which is awesome. I've got your GitHub account open on my computer, right? And you've got demonstrated works listed in your Git profile, right?
Yeah.
So to
Yeah.
put that in perspective, as a recruiter, there's a tool that I have, and a few other recruiters are aware of it, that it skims your Git account. It skims your Git, the code that you have, and it gives an indication or it gives a breakdown of what language you're using
Yeah.
and whether or not it's good or not, right?
Yeah.
So it'll go
Exactly.
through and stuff and go, oh, there's 25%, Angular, there's, Java, there's C Sharp, whatever, and then it will rate the code, right? So
Yeah.
as a job seeker, you may not be aware of that, right? But the fact that
Okay.
on your LinkedIn profile, which I'm looking at right now, you've got your GitHub account, you've got that featured component of your profile standing out. That helps you as a candidate to stand out from other people.
Yeah.
So I'm
True.
not sure if
True.
you're aware of that. That question, right? I always ask it when I'm interviewing someone. I always say, what was the last skill you had to acquire? What was something that you didn't know, and how did you acquire that skill? How did you ensure that you became a master? Okay, and
Okay.
that's what you've just mentioned there. So, what training did you do on Udemy?
So the training was basically on the Angular applications, and there I had been for the migration of the applications that I was working for. There were two parts for it. One was the front end, so I had to concentrate on Angular and Angular related frameworks like Angular Material, Bootstrap, and all those. And on the backend side, I was working on microservices. So I wanted to build microservices using Spring Boot, Java, and all those, and some microservices framework using the Spring Cloud. So all these skills I had been doing separate courses for it, and for that I have its own Git repository that I have built and the applications that I've built. So I have added that in the repository.
Oh, wonderful. No, that's really good, man. I'm glad that you've done that. You know, as a job seeker, that the thing that a lot of people forget is, yes, it's a full-time job looking for a job, right? But your resume is your sales tool. Your LinkedIn profile is helping sell you, right? So generally, out of habit, whenever I'm looking at a CV, I do a search for the person's LinkedIn profile. And there's multiple reasons people do it. Partially, it's all right. Let's recruiters like to see people's faces, right? So these kind of conversations, they're priceless. Being able to know that the person, hey, we can communicate, we can see one another. That's fine. The other element is, checking your information. So if your resume has dates that don't match up to your LinkedIn profile, then there's a lie somewhere, right? Why is
Yeah,
that
true.
occurring?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's that's something that happens a fair chunk, where someone's finished a job in September last year and they drag it out to August this year because there's generally a story, or they haven't been able to find a job. And as
yeah.
a job seeker,
True.
you have to be able to explain yourself, right?
Yeah, so just to add on that, in the JLB community that I am part of, so there it is our like the community people, they come together, they grill the LinkedIn profile and the resume, and they see that what all changes has to be done, whether it is synced or not, what updates can we do, can we add a feature. So those features that we have done it, we should add it. We can't add any features which we are not part of it. So all these things is a part of JLB community, and that helped me to build a LinkedIn profile and a resume too.
Oh, okay, that's good. Now, if
Yeah.
you're thinking about the interview that you just attended, all right, what would you feel? What was the hardest question that you got asked?
uh, can you please repeat? I didn't get you.
That's good. What was the toughest question that you were asked in your most recent interview? What was
Okay,
the question?
so
Was there a stop you in your tracks?
yeah, so I would say the hardest question that was asked to me was the best company that I worked for, and it is not a sort of worst company, but which was the best and which was not the best. So this
Yep.
was a question that was asked to me, and it is a question where actually where I feel that I should bring always the positive things into it. So the best company is always where I get all the opportunities and what I have done there, what it has made me build. But where it is not the best company, it has also given me an opportunity to actually work on my like skills which the company is wants me to do, so that it is not giving me that opportunity, like for example for development. So
Yep.
if a bad company doesn't give me an opportunity to develop, that means that they don't have the confidence in me. So what I do is I build my skills, I give them an opportunity to understand that I can do it, and they give me that opportunity. So though some companies actually understand you in the earlier stage, but some companies take time to do it. That I understand, because it is the company's nature. So that always helps. Yeah.
No, it's good. And the fact that you've answered the question in that way, that bodes really well for you, right? Um, there are many times where I know people have asked that question, or personally, when I've interviewed for jobs, people have asked me that question. And it's almost like a catch-22 question as a recruiter when it's asked of you, right? But anyway,
Yeah.
because everyone knows that there are companies that are good and companies that are bad, right? In terms of how they treat you in the workplace. The thing is how you manage and deal with them, right?
Yeah.
And they want
Yeah.
to see your personality. So it's, in the midst of working in an organization that is rather frantic, are you a person that's level-headed, cool, calm, and collected, or are you someone that needs structure? That if there is a lot of turbulence around you, you freak out, right? So that question, the way you answer it, gives a lot of insight to those who are answering it. The fact that you've gone everything positive, company A was phenomenal, they treated me fantastic, they did this, great. And then you go, company B, listen, I'd probably say it wasn't the best company to work at, but there was a lot of stuff that I took away from it. And what I learned was, how to work in a combined team and how to do this and how to do reporting, whatever. There are elements. So you're focusing on the positives, even though that probably wasn't the best place, but it taught me, it rounded me out, right?
Yeah.
So it's good
True.
that you're answering the question. That's solid. Really, this is actually fun because a lot of the time when I run interviews with people, I actually pause and say, this is why I'm asking the question. I want you to be comfortable. I want you to talk to me, right? Because we need you to be calm. For any person to get the best out of somebody being interviewed, everyone's just got to be relaxed. We
Yeah.
dive straight into this, right? Generally speaking, I would take 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and talk about you, right? Do you have a family? Do you have a dog? Do you have a cat? Do you have kids? Do you play sport? There's a bunch of questions there, and it always leads on to something phenomenal. So it's that creates that common ground to put you at ease, right? Because as you said, as everyone has said so far in the process, interviews are a full-time job, and everyone needs to put food on the table. That's what we're doing. We're not working just because we love it, right? We're working because we've got bills to pay. We've got a life that we want to live. We want to set ourselves up for the future, right? And you want to be in the
Yeah.
best mindset to be able to do it. So, I hope, even though we've jumped into this, you're a bit comfortable with me, right? Because if you're not, it's not showing, right? Yeah, I guess if we were to go into the personal stuff, the question I'd be asking is how are you dealing with COVID? Because you're here in Sydney, we had the initial lockdown for 3 months, right? How are you
Yeah.
feeling now? It doesn't, I know when I walk outside, it doesn't feel like there's anything going on, it doesn't feel like there's a pandemic. It, it feels a little bit normal, which is concerning.
Yeah. So the current situation is better than how it was earlier, and
Yeah,
I can see the opportunities now are growing now, and in the COVID situation, actually, when you are held up in a room and you don't have any other things to do, it is always best to get online, speak to different people about what they do, how they are coping up. And it was like in the COVID situation, it was like I have to find a job. So while finding a job, I have to work as a job, like same as that of job. So 9 to 5 was my job to search a job. So for that I need some discipline, and for that discipline is actually where I joined the community that village has. And that community brought a discipline into me, the way we have to approach the job search, how the networking is very important, and and how should we refine ourselves and each and every stage of finding a job. So all these things were part of it, and the time went by. So that helped a lot to cope up with the situation and find a job at the end.
now, can I ask you a question? Because
Yeah.
again, this is it's always interesting as a recruiter to speak to people about their job search, right? And applying for jobs becomes a numbers game. So,
Yeah.
do you know how many jobs did you apply for, and over what
Okay.
period of time?
Yeah, I'll tell you the story here. So when I started with doing that, it was like uh, almost 50 jobs per week was something which I was targeting. But the end, I came to know that it is not something where we have to always apply each and every jobs that we have to do. So for that, I for first some months it was like that, but afterwards I came to understand like it is not like it is not a number game. It is always like the skills that you're looking for and the company that is looking for the same skills or not. So it is
Mm-hmm.
not 100% thing, but it can be like 80 to 50 and somewhere like that. But then I refined all the jobs that I have to, and then I concentrated on at least 3 jobs per week, but in my skill itself. And for that, I didn't directly apply. I applied through Seek and other directly to the company. I spoke to the recruiters. I in the LinkedIn I communicated them, spoke to them. I took the phone, I called them and understood what is the role about, whether I am fitting into it or not, whether the company needs the same skills or not. So that helped me to refine my job search and end up into a job like what I have now. Yeah.
Mate, that's really what you've done there is what I advise a lot of people to do, right? You've taken it really serious, which is great. I'm assuming you documented all the places that you applied to. Did you create a spreadsheet of what you'd applied
Yeah.
for and
Yeah.
who with?
Yeah.
That's super important as well, right? A
Yeah.
lot, so many people do not do this, so they've got no idea where their job search or where their CV has gone, right?
True.
It ends
True.
up we call so on the flip side as a recruiter, right? When so you may find this funny, you may not, but I always say, and I had a little emoji made of it, but I said candidate experience, candidate behavior is driven by movement, right?
Okay.
It's train, bus, and bowel movement. Because what we found is people, I know people who are applying for jobs and they're on the way to work, on the way home from work, or they're in the toilet at work or at home, and that's it. That's what we're doing, right? So a lot of people, when they're on the bus, when they're trying, they're not taking the time and reading through a job ad. They're not looking at the video. Sometimes they've got their headphones plugged in. It's all right. Yep, apply, click apply, right? And so you don't really digest what it is you're looking for. And again, that comes from a mentality associated with being a job seeker. It's I need to put bloody food on the table. I've got bills to pay. So we rush and we panic, right? So it's great that you've taken the time to document that stuff. And the fact that you've followed up or approached a few organizations prior and asked
Yeah.
some additional questions, that shows a lot of thought process. That shows you've got a structured approach to things. You like to understand what it is you're doing. So from a psychological perspective, it looks really good. If I was a hiring manager and someone's calling in and going, "Oh yeah, I've got these questions," right? That helps. The tough thing is, given the pandemic, given a lot of recruiters are super busy, it's hard to catch the person at the right time. So,
That's true.
you really fine line of what you've done is perfect. And the fact that you're able to speak to someone and get additional information, that put you, so far ahead of anyone else who's applying without doing that.
True.
So
True.
it's worked in your favour, but it's not a tactic that'll work all the time.
Yeah.
So
That,
I'm really glad you did that. Of the so let's say you applied for 50 a week, right? That's the number that you did. How many of those did you get calls from for an interview?
zero.
And please don't. Yeah,
Nothing.
and that is, I'll tell you something, Sandeep. That's something that in the recruitment world, it's the hot topic at the moment. Everyone's talking about candidate experience. And as a recruiter, it annoys the crap out of me that has happened. It doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me by any means. right?
Yeah.
Because anytime you apply for a job, you should hear back from someone saying, hey, listen, thanks so much for taking the time to apply. You've not been selected, right? As long as you get an email back going, hey, we're not moving forward with you, you can go, all right, sweet, bang, that's a no. But so that's it's fortuitous, and the role that you've secured, they turned around really quick and jumped on you.
No, actually, I can understand how the situation the recruiters are in, because there might be many applications, and to reply each and every application, it is difficult for them. Sometimes we get reply on an automated way, so that can be understood, like if it is so. But it was the point that we always made, that at least we should reach out to the recruiters, if they, and most of the recruiters are actually uh, take some time to at least speak to us and understand like how is the role about. So that always helped, like calling them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it opens up another avenue, right? I sort of get excited when I have conversations with people about this kind of stuff, because recruiters do what recruiters do, right? I've worked in a recruitment agency, and I've worked in corporate businesses, in tech businesses, helping them grow their teams, right? And
Yeah.
we talk to other recruiters. A lot of recruiters don't go and speak to people who are job seekers, right? They don't ask the questions. But I reckon it'd be really interesting to see what the people in the JLB community would say is a minimum thing that they would expect from a recruiter, right? For every
Yeah.
job that you apply to, do you expect automated response saying, hey, thanks, we received your application? Would you want a phone call or an email back, like saying that you were unsuccessful, right? If you've gone to an interview, what's the expectation, right? Because the way that I look at it is, if you go to a restaurant and a waiter comes to your table, or someone greets you at the door and says, "Oh, you know, why don't you take the seat over there?" and then no one ever comes to take your order, you get pissed off, right?
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
it's
that is
very much
true.
it's very similar, right? So it'd be interesting to see if we make those comparisons. What is the expectation? Because we should always expect, and this is going to sound so toxic, we should expect the best, right? You're applying
Yeah.
for a job, hey, get back to them, right? And it's a big branding concern. So from an organizational perspective, if you apply for a job with, I'm going to throw someone under the bus. Let's choose Google, right? Because Google, like everyone wants to work at Google, right? If you apply for a job at Google and Google doesn't reply and you never hear back from them, what happens if you jump on to Glassdoor and put a negative review, right? More people
Yeah.
will be aware of it. Other people go through and read that review. Send through an application, never heard anything back, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It won't hurt a company like Google. But if you're a smaller business, if you're a startup, what do you think that starts happening? What do you think starts occurring? Right? If you look at the likes of say Combank, Westpac, right? There's a lot of feedback there on their Glassdoor profiles, and those businesses are trying to put a lot of stuff in place to ensure that the experience is a whole heap better than what it is.
Yeah. True.
Which means that it's only going to benefit other people and the community here as a whole in terms of, do they get a response? Do they have closure when it comes to applying for a job? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. So there has to be a closure always. So that helps, and that actually reduces the anxiety that the candidate has. So sometimes it always helps if a rejection is also there, and sometimes it always helps, like what improvement can we do so that we can be better next time when we are applying.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
That's a tough one because it's so individualized. But again,
Yes,
it
true.
depends on the individual, right? So
Sure.
I know I can talk for myself. There are times where you have the opportunity to go through and provide a bit more in-depth feedback. We go, hey, listen, your CV is actually crap. You know, You see these all over the place. The formatting's off. It's riddled with spelling errors and grammatical errors. Okay, that needs to be fixed. Your links aren't working. You've got a URL for LinkedIn that goes to John Smith, and you're not John Smith, right? There's all these little things. Sometimes you get the opportunity to give some feedback, right? And then other times, you don't, because unfortunately, the nature of the beast is everyone's got a stack of work on the go. So, but there should always be that level of closure. At the bare minimum, something say, hey, listen, we're not moving forward with the application, right?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So, Sandeep, I want to ask you, what is, if there's something I can give you a bit of feedback on, what's been the toughest interview question you've ever asked? Or is there anything in terms of the interview process that I can give you some guidance on and help you out with? Or, just from a thought process perspective, because it looks like we're almost out of time.
So, like, it is the guidance that you're saying. Like, I didn't hear you properly. So you're saying that what guidance I want? Actually, your sound is breaking.
Yeah, I guess no worries. So is this a bit better now?
Yeah. I'm able to hear now. Yeah.
All right. If there is one tip that you
Mhm.
want or need help
Okay.
with when it comes to interviews, what would that
Okay.
be? Like something that you're unsure of about the interview process. It could be about dress. It could be about the manner in which you articulate yourself. Um, there's a bunch of different areas. So if there's something you're unsure about, or you want to know what recruiters think about,
Uh, so, see, I have a fair idea because what we do in the community that I'm part of, I'm getting a lot of things into it. So basically, when I feel like if I need to ask something, like it is always like we always know when we speak to a video, we should always see to the camera, and sometimes it is not obvious that we do it, and because it is a new way of doing an interview, it is sometimes difficult to see to the camera always. So any tips on that? Because I have tried different ways to do it, but sometimes it doesn't work out. So anything on that?
honestly, I'm personally, I don't place a lot of value on that. Some people are
Okay.
more finicky, but I had a call this morning where the person, like one of the people that was on those 4 people in this conference call, one of them was literally in the bottom corner like this, right? It's as long as your face is in there, you're presented well. It's
Okay.
not an issue where you're looking, because this is me looking at my camera, right? I feel crazy doing that, right? So yeah, eye contact if you're not in person, unless you want to get one of those little boxes and put a box around your computer and have a mirror reflecting your image. It's not worth the headache. It's not. No one's going to freak out and say, "Oh, we're not going to hire you because we couldn't tell that you were making eye contact through this computer," right? So I wouldn't stress too much about that. I think
Okay.
throughout this whole throughout this whole piece, what you've done really well is all your answers were very to the point, clear, concise, right? So that's one thing people need to be very much aware of, especially when using Zoom or Teams or whatever for interviews. It's
Yes.
to the point, and then you can clarify and say, would you like me to elaborate further on that? Okay?
Okay.
Because some
Okay.
people aren't like, you say some people just want the answer. How do you get from A to B? Well, you do this, or you can say, well, if you did this, you go on the big story around that. I think direct, and then would you like some further information on that? That's
Okay.
probably the best thing. But you've been doing the whole this whole call, so big ups, and therefore I'm not surprised you're stuck.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for your input.
Thank you so much, Mark and
You're
Sandeep.
more than welcome.
I was just lost of time. I mean, I didn't even keep track of time. It's already 35 minutes, but I absolutely enjoyed you both talking. I absolutely like your bubble movement analogy, Mark. I mean, that was spot on. That was spot on. And regarding the candidate experience concept that you mentioned. I put a poll, I think, a couple of months back on LinkedIn, as in what is the worst thing as a job seeker that you feel? And the top things were ghosting by a recruiter, as in not getting any
Yep.
response at all. And second thing was hearing the excuse as local experience. So these were the top two things. As in, you have no action item on that when you hear that. So if a candidate can um, do something about it, a rejection, even if it's an automated rejection, if there is an action item that they can do, that's what they'd like to hear. And I think everyone is struggling. So if you're just not getting any response, it's a big struggle. It just adds to the, and just like you mentioned, we don't get closure, which is, I think, very hard for us. Sandeep, you did
Yeah.
brilliantly
Finish. I
today.
do want to point one thing out.
Yeah,
Sorry, mate. Just because you mentioned
no
it, and
worries.
I've always hated that excuse. Oh, you don't have any local experience, right? That for me is always the biggest cop out. And the reality is that comes from recruiters who don't understand their clients, right? That tends to come from recruiters who don't understand their clients. You will very rarely see someone who works for a big bank or a software development company or a tech company here decline someone's application because they don't have local experience. Really, I look at it as a racist bloody excuse.
Yeah,
I hate it. It's not something that I enjoy, and it falls under that culture umbrella, which again is a cop out. There are ways to deal with things, like there are tough questions you can ask your clients.
yeah,
It's yeah, sorry, I had to point that out because some people look at it and they get deflated by it. It's BS, right? It's something that infuriates me. I hate it, and when I hear that people do that, it gets me so angry because whenever I've worked for corporate companies, I don't care if someone's here for 3 days, all right, or overseas. I've brought people in from overseas to work for the organisation that I was working for, right? It's about skills and the manner the person holds themselves and the ability they've got to learn. So, you know, learning agility is huge. So don't. I wish there was a statement I could say to sort of say, "Hey, don't get down if you see it." All right, but it happens. I hate it. I'm sorry it
uh,
happens. Um,
yeah.
Hopefully, we can
And
turn it around in the recruitment space to stop it. To get
yeah,
that happening.
unfortunately, I think that's probably the most frustrating thing. As in migrants, but specifically, they've they've given up a lot to come here and to make a living out of here. And when they say, and when you hear a rejection called local experience, it comes on your face as in, what's a way out? I can't get a job unless you give me a chance. And it's a chicken and egg situation, right? And people get really devastated by that, but it's important to
Yeah.
realize, like, just like Mark said, it's not literally local experience. There's something hidden behind it. Just we have to press and find what that is. So excellent conversation. I don't want to we had about 20 people on LinkedIn live, and I think about 5-6 people on YouTube live as well watching. So I'm assuming everyone enjoyed it. Sandeep, thanks for saying some good things about JLB. That was not the intention. I did not pay you for that, trust me. I just want to put a disclaimer. That was not the case,
Yeah.
but thanks for saying that. And Mark, I absolutely enjoyed your conversation today. I mean, the way you put, and I think you absolutely enjoyed it as well, because you could interview someone and give them feedback as well, which is something you as an interviewer or a recruiter can't always do. So I trust that you enjoyed the experience as well. This is the first time I'm doing this on StreamYard. So if there
Oh
was
man,
any
I love it.
technical issue, thanks, Mark. So this is the first time I'm doing this on StreamYard. So if there was any technical issues, I'm sorry for that. It's a learning curve for all of us. The tech world is crazy out there. But I like go back, watch the replay, and see how we all did. But otherwise, thank you so much, Mark, for your time, and Sandeep for your time. And or to all our viewers, if you have any questions for us, leave a comment, connect to any one of us, and we'll try to respond. Sandeep, huge congratulations to you again. All your hard work paid off, and you were the star of the month for a reason. And well done on that. So, Mark and Sandeep, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks, Vinesh.
No, is it all, mate? No, congrats again, Sandeep. If I can be of assistance, just reach out. You too, Vinesh.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. So I'll see you hopefully next month with another star of the month. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.